This test I'm going to walk you through is a test on drape. Now, for a garment, drape is an essential component of the silhouette of a garment. So when you look at your dress, if you're making a dress, you look at the structure of it. Does it fall close to the body or does it stand away from the body? Now, that's what we call drape, and before you decide on your final fabric, you can do a test on possible fabrics for your silhouette to achieve the shape that you want. Now, this is the equipment that you need. You will need a piece of paper, a jar turned upside down, an overhead light, and if you cut yourself a 25 centimetre piece of cardboard, you'll then put the cardboard and trace around this shape on your fabric. The fabrics that I'm going to test are as follows. Firstly, this piece of fabric, which is a satin back crepe, shiny on one side and crepe on the other, has been cut to 25 centimetres. I place the middle of the fabric over the jar, and with the light overhead, there is a shadow that is created by this fabric. You'll need to use a coloured pen and trace around the shadow formed by this fabric. Now, once you have traced that shadow from the fabric, you'll remove it and then put a second piece of fabric over the jar and see how that falls. Then you take another coloured pencil and you trace around the outline of the shadow formed by this fabric here. As you can see from these two fabrics, this wool stands right away from the centre of the jar, and we call this fabric, we would describe it as having a very poor drape because it stands away from the jar, but it's a very good fabric if you want to have volume and you want your silhouette to stand away from the body. Compare that with the satin backed crepe. You will see it falls much closer to the centre of the jar, and there are more angles in the shadow, and we would say this one has better drape. Now, this would be quite satisfactory for a garment that has a better cling to the body. This is an example here of how your drawing will look when you use a different coloured pen to trace the outline of the shadow formed by each fabric. We can then use this diagram to compare the drape and even rank the order. If the better drape is number 1, it would be the pink line here. Number 2 would be the black line, and the drape with the poorest drape would be the green line. So we, in this experiment, are ranking each of the fabrics according to the amount of drape. Then we would compare the results of this drape test to the desired shape of the silhouette of your garment.